from simply hanging a picture to full house remodels. Bay Handyman Services provides 24/7 emergency services. Call them at 850-753-5014 or visit their website, bayhandymanservices.com.
Parkinson's disease is a neurological movement disorder affecting an estimated 1 million Americans, including many under age 40. It has no cure. Parkinson's is not limited to how a person moves. It can also cause symptoms like depression, fatigue, and impaired speech. Today, there is a new diagnosis every 9 minutes, though Parkinson's can be present for years before being diagnosed. The American Parkinson Disease Association is the largest grassroots network in the United States, working to help ease the burden and find the cure. For more than 50 years, APDA has funded pioneering research and provided critical support to those affected by Parkinson's. Visit apdaoptimism.org today to find out how you can help millions live with dignity and optimism. Your action today will help APDA put an end to Parkinson's disease.
From the Florida-Bama line to the Gulf of Mexico, WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DM Mariana, powered by Pepsi, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Transmission starts in 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting from the Red Crib Radio Room, the Afternoon Underdogs are taking your calls live. 850-215-6290. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
What is going on, Northwest Florida, from Pensacola to Mariana to right here in Bay County, all my Panama Cityans? What's going on? You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs right here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. I'm David Hayes. We've got Caveman Rick, Adam Goff on the board as well today. Appreciate you guys coming in as always. I love my Fridays, man.
Love it, man. Anytime.
Yeah. Could we also call them Panamaniacs?
Panamaniacs? No, we can't do that because of what happened just a few short months ago, right?
Oh, yeah.
Spring break, and you had
but those weren't locals, though.
They weren't locals, but still, the connotation is negative. I
thought you thought Van Halen might try to sue us or something like that for using Panama.
That one's over my young head.
Right.
So can you explain that one for me?
They have a song called Panama from back in the day, album 1984. It's kind of a really big song. You know, a lot of people sang Panama.
Panama.
So I figured, you know,
so it's something I need to go back and listen to.
They could coin that, you know, and then maybe, you know, they have a propensity of like sue people and getting legal stuff. Eddie Van Halen, he's not with us anymore. R.I.P.
Yeah.
So maybe we wouldn't have to worry about that.
Because it was while I was working here that he passed away.
Oh yeah,
it was recent.
Like in the last year or so.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I think just a few days ago might have been the 1 year anniversary, if I'm not mistaken.
I would agree with that because I can vividly remember being asked to get some more Van Halen music on for that day.
Yeah.
So that we could, especially when I have my man Old School here with me, you know what I mean? Big shout out to Old School.
But Panama would be a good song for you to play while you're on your boat out there in the bay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Just blast it.
That's good stuff. I want to lead off today with, just real quick, yesterday we had a question. One's got to go. All right?
Mm-hmm.
And me and Kyle got into it. One's got to go. We're talking about Tom Brady. We're talking Michael Jordan. We're talking Wayne Gretzky and Babe Ruth. Now, my answer was Babe Ruth. So we're not in this for my answer. If you have a disagreement, 850-215-6290. I just kind of wanted to lead the show off with this today before we get into some of the headlines. We've got a great show ahead of you guys today. We're going to get into some overrated, underrated here in the next segment. Then we're going to, then Wright State Chris is going to call in. We'll
Nice.
get around the ice a little bit, talk a little NHL. Defend your stance. Got some good questions in there. Rapid fire, as always, is going to be fun. And then Sydney Fields, which, if you guys remember during the Women's College World Series, she would come on. She's with 247 WCWS.
Yes, definitely.
And she's actually on vacation now in Panama City Beach, so she's going to come in studio today.
Sweet.
Spend a couple of segments with us, talking about softball, catching us up on everything, all the transfers. I mean, we know how wild it is in football and in basketball, right, with the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
The same applies to all the other sports as well. So there's some big names on the move. And then she's a big Arkansas fan, so I figured, hey, what's a better time to get into some SEC conversation there? And we'll wrap it up with a meme that I saw on Facebook about Kevin Durant versus Larry Bird. Not in a one-on-one sense, but just who you guys think would be the better basketball player. Let's start it off with One's Got to Go before we get into some headlines. You guys give your takes. 850-215-6290. Give us a call right here to the Afternoon Underdogs and tell us who you guys think you would get rid of. We're talking Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, Wayne Gretzky, Babe Ruth. I want to add Tiger Woods to it. I want to add him to it, but 4 I think is enough to eliminate. So who you got? We'll start with you, Caveman Rick, move on to Adam Goff, and then move on to some headlines.
I don't think a lot of people are going to be surprised with my answer of those 4 that you gave us. The easy answer for me is Tom Brady. You get rid of him.
I forgot how many references I made to you yesterday.
I would think, like he's, not the best quarterback. I'd probably put Joe Montana up there, as far as the guys that I've seen in my lifetime. 4-0, in the Super Bowl, no interceptions, perfect record. How can you go against that? Joe Montana. And no cheating allegations. Babe Ruth, he's the most iconic baseball player ever. There's kids that, are just coming of age now that know who Babe Ruth is and have heard stories. So how can you, get rid of him or eliminate him from the story of baseball, if you will? Everybody knows I love hockey. I think Wayne Gretzky is, one of the greatest team sport athletes out there. You can't talk hockey. You can't tell the story of hockey without having him in there as well. So, obviously, that just leaves Tommy Boy out. So,
you know what? That was kind of the consensus that I took away from the callers yesterday, was that Tom Brady was kind of the odd man out on this list. And we're talking about a guy who's held to such a revel. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, Tom Brady was the impetus behind the Goat of Goats tournament that we did with the Right On Sports Network. So, for me, and it's simply, so don't take this personal, Caveman, but I'm not a hockey guy. I'm trying to get into it. I watched the Stanley Cup playoffs, with you guys this year, and we were texting back and forth about it. But for me, it's Wayne Gretzky out of those. I don't think you can tell the story of the NFL without Tom Brady. I don't think, and this is just a personal choice. Babe Ruth is, looked at as, the best baseball player of all time. And Jordan is Jordan. He's more than just basketball. He revolutionized the way pro sports are marketed.
Very true.
So for me, it's Wayne Gretzky, and again, that's simply a personal choice. It's not to diminish anything he did on the ice or off it.
Yeah, I love it because I don't think that there was another one. Right State Chris, I do believe, said Babe Ruth. He's the epitome of, the legend in baseball. It's just purely my perspective. I think that there is some recency bias in it, but everyone who sits there and wants to talk about Babe Ruth, you never watched him. Yeah. You never laid an eye on him. My grandpa didn't get to see him.
For most people, John Goodman is Babe Ruth.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So there is that.
Taken on a Paul Bunyan kind of legendary status.
It is, though, because, heroes are important while you're still alive, but legends never die. And Babe Ruth, huge legend to the game. So the beauty of this for me is when you're talking about 4 guys of such a storied part of sports history,
Mount Rushmore.
There's no wrong answer here. You know what I mean? You could say whichever one if you got a reason to back it up. That's great. If the cheating allegations, that alone is a good enough reason for me. And then you bring up Joe Montana. Yeah, absolutely impressive. 4-0 in the Super Bowl. But to me, what's even more impressive, and that is absolutely it's clutch. It's beyond clutch.
And 2 of those against my Bengals.
At least they got there, though, man. One day, you guys are going to get over the hump. And the window started last year.
I don't even think it started last year. I think the window starts
that.
This year.
I agree with that. For the Cincinnati Bengals, the window is open now.
Yeah.
But you got there. So that's when, you know what I mean? That's when you guys unlocked the window and now are just starting to open it. Whereas you take other teams, Green Bay Packers. The window's closing, right?
Or if not closed.
You take the Tennessee. I don't think closed yet because it's yet to be determined, right? Yeah. We've got a lot of questions to ask. This could be a good segment
for us next week as well. Who's open? Who's closed?
Yeah. So let's not go into too much, but I'll say the Titans, they're another team that is kind of beyond the halfway point here. So if you want to get it done, you can have these great windows, and you can have a large window like the New England Patriots window. If you don't get it done, you might as well tint the window.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was never there. Or actually, not even do that. Just treat it how we all
Board
looked
it up
after
for a hurricane.
Yeah, exactly right.
I was about to say, treat it
Right.
like a month of October and just go ahead and board them windows up. No sunshine.
But like
no
the Eagles
sunshine.
window is open.
Yeah,
It's open.
The Eagles'
Yeah.
window's open.
It
The
was slammed
Dolphins'
shut
window.
last year, and it's open now.
Yeah. You think it was slammed shut last year?
Yeah, we didn't have a chance to
Well,
win
for the
Super
Super Bowl,
last
yes.
year. I mean, come on.
That's true, but you guys made it to the playoffs, right?
Well, yeah, but
right,
look
but
at the
you
division.
improved this year, though, is what I'm trying to get
Yeah,
at.
yeah.
In the draft as well
So
as,
I think
as
it's
well as
there- I think
trades.
it's-
doing is they're showing us that, hey, they think they got the nucleus there, and now they're adding some pieces to try to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
progress.
That's why I say it's open and not
Yeah.
opening.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Well, I would say that y'all's window
It
is
opened
is
at the
in the
draft.
Bengals situation where we're undoing the locks on the window right
I
now.
think making the playoffs last year was like unlocking the window, and then what we did come draft time and free agency, that's started to open the window.
The whole
That's how I would
my
look at
whole
it.
thing with free agency and all of that stuff, you can make these major moves, right? The Rams. But if the chemistry's not there,
Right.
if the chemistry's not there, then it makes it a lot tougher to actually to see what you thought you were going to see on paper.
Yeah.
And so that's what's going to be interesting about those Eagles is because now Jalen Hurts somewhat Jalen Hurts is driving a Cadillac. Tua's got a Ferrari over there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so there's no excuse there because you got A.J. Brown, you got Devontae Smith. I think Jalen Rager
He might be
Dallas
gone.
Goedert.
I
He might
think
be
he's
gone.
gone.
Dallas
Yeah.
Goedert.
Dallas Goedert, but I'm saying with Jalen Rager, who was like one of like maybe second top two or not top two receiver,
Yeah,
but
he was last year,
He was
yeah.
the number 2 guy
Yeah.
last year for you. Because you guys also added in Zach Pascal from the Indianapolis Colts. So there's moves that have been made.
And still stuff can happen. You know, training camp's coming around. Somebody might get hurt. Somebody might needs to make a move, and you get fortunate and get somebody else. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's
Speaking
it's all
of
possible.
windows opening up and slamming shut, DeAndre Ayton slammed that one pretty quick for the Pacers, didn't he?
So we're getting into the headlines,
Yeah.
man. Why do you think I was trying to prolong ourselves from this? But we were even texting about this yesterday,
Yeah,
right?
you and I were.
And I had read a report that no matter what happens, the Suns were more than likely not even that they should do it. They were going to match the offer sheet that the Pacers
Would they wait 5
set
minutes?
forth. Huh?
Would they wait 5 minutes?
It was once he actually, because, everyone was like, oh, this is a done deal or whatever. And it was like, you're not reading the details of the story. In fact, even Woj, who posted this, he left out the detail in his social media post, which is not where he reports. He reports on the shows.
Well, yeah,
and
he wants
stuff.
you to click the link.
Exactly. But he had said later on the NBA Network that he hasn't even put pen to paper to this, so it doesn't count yet. Well, I get home about 6:45-ish or so, and boom, he signed. So I'm like, okay, we'll see how this goes. 8 minutes later, Suns have matched the offer sheet. So now, dude can't even get traded for
January 15th.
He's got a no trade clause for at least a year.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about playing the game the right way, or playing the free agency game the right way. He wanted the money. The Suns didn't give him the money. He goes and hooks up with another team. They're like, yeah, we'll give you the money. And now that team doesn't even have a shot at you anymore. Like, so if they wanted to do a sign and trade, if the Suns did want a Kevin Durant, it's not going to happen.
Nope.
It's not going to happen. So that kind of poses the question, does DeAndre Ayton, we talked yesterday, and I said, without DeAndre Ayton, the Pacers are fighting for 15th in the East. They're fighting for 8th or 7th. Now, we saw the Phoenix Suns' best record overall in the NBA last year, but also a brief appearance in the NBA playoffs. Is DeAndre Ayton and that lineup going to be able to get over the hump when we've seen it takes 2 real stars? Chris Paul, yes, a superstar in name, but
He's 37,
talk
38.
about windows closing.
Right.
That one's
Yeah, he's like
Whoa.
maybe a season and a half away from just riding off into the sunset. No pun
exactly.
intended.
I think that he really wants to get the NBA championship. So my thing on this is, as much as I would have loved it for the Pacers, it could be a good thing for the Phoenix Suns, but does it make them contenders just off of that move unless they make another type of splash in free agency?
Yeah, it's probably going to take a second move.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
So I hate it because there was a little bit of excitement garnered for the Indiana Pacers fans there because it was like we was in rebuild mode. And I'm like, man, they got Noah building the ark out here or something because this is happening extremely fast. And then it was just all the way down. So he's going to be with the Phoenix Suns 4 years, $133 million. And I got to say, at least for NBA players, because I think it's different in every single sport, look at what DeAndre Ayton did. If you want to get your money and try to get it in the best, the most seamless way possible, even though there's going to be some drama along the way, look to DeAndre Ayton. We're on the radio at 104.3 FM. Also in Jackson County, Mariana area, 102.1 FM, where all of you guys are going to be able to hear the Mosley Dolphins on your radio stations throughout football season this year with me, myself, David Hayes, and Kyle Wright calling the games. We're also streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and with our TV partner, Blab TV. If you don't have their channel with your TV service provider, you can download their app on the Fire Stick or Roku TV. Be sure to like and share our Facebook page. Please do that for me, guys. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, download the new app, and register all at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Now, Tiger Woods misses the cut. I don't want to say, I'm surprised by this. I'm not surprised by this. But what was he, 6 over yesterday, 3 over today?
Yeah.
Had he not had the follies that he had at the first hole yesterday, maybe the mindset could have changed. Nonetheless, regardless of it all, he would rather be playing on the weekend. He's going home, and that could possibly be his last British Open.
Or just
at St. Andrews.
At St. Andrews. No, well, I know.
No, at St. Andrews. I think he plays
he was
year.
correct to me on the Open, but, every time I see...
They get mad when you call it the British Open.
Well, then they better be getting mad at Tiger because read every single one of his quotes. And what's he call it? The British Open. And I'm talking about Tiger right now, not the Open. So...
Yeah. But no, it is. If you think back to the Tiger Slam in 2000, you think about some of the... the shots that he made at the old course there in St. Andrews over the course of his career and what he was able to accomplish there. It is an end of an era, really. We talk about those things all the time. Sorry, buddy. Malfunction with the Buffalo product.
All right.
But, he even got a little misty-eyed on 18 today. So, so he knows.
Did it not trigger the chills in y'all's body when you saw that video?
You get the feels because, think about how you felt watching that
through our childhoods.
Think about how you felt watching that versus how you felt when he was winning the Masters a few years ago.
Oh,
virtually the same feelings because it was like,
and he's 9 over.
Holy crap! Right? Like this is really happening.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's.
I guess I'm a jerk. I don't want to say like I'm a cold, heartless, jerk.
Anybody who's in a group chat with you would say,
yes.
I disagree with you. You are.
He's had a pretty fortunate career. Okay, yeah, it kind of sucks. It's probably gonna be his last one.
Last one at St. Andrews, the old course.
Well, it could be his last one too, depending, if his body.
I don't know. I think his competitive juices keeps him in it for a few more years at least. I think he wants to play until Charlie gets on the tour.
So a little LeBron action.
Yeah, I do. I really do.
Really?
And Charlie's probably 5 years away, so I think he gives it another 5 years.
Well, speaking of 5 years away,
there we go.
The 5-year flyaway today, 4:45. We're gonna open up the phone lines every Monday through Friday, 8:15 in the morning, 4:45 in the afternoon. Your chance to win 2 tickets to the Atlanta Braves, 2 tickets on a flight, an Uber card, spending cash. What else could you ask for? Let's go. 4:45. We're going to get these lines rolling. You guys are rolling with the Afternoon Underdogs on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida for David Hayes, Caveman Rick, and Adam Goff. We'll be right back in just a few moments.
For 5 years, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has been the undisputed
and still undefeated
leader for sports on the Panhandle, with engaging sports talk from national and local hosts, play-by-play with the Atlanta Braves, the Auburn Tigers, college football, and the NFL. Plus, we're 850 strong with feeding families for the holidays at Thanksgiving and Christmas. Thanks for 5 years of broadcasting history from ESPN Northwest Florida.
Weather forecast for this afternoon, good chance of showers and thunderstorms, partly to mostly cloudy at times, highs around 85, south wind at 10, and the water temperature in the Gulf is holding at 86. More showers and thunderstorms overnight, the low around 75, showers and thunderstorms over the weekend. This weather forecast has been brought to you by KHS and Associates, your source for affordable health insurance. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Hear that? That's the plumpest, juiciest hot dogs you've ever seen getting their grill on. But we both know what'll make it sound even better. Oh yeah, it's a Pepsi to go with your hot dog. Because when you're chomping on America's favorite meal, relish, mustard, and onions perfectly blending into a crescendo of flavor, there's only one thing that makes everything about that moment better. A cold, refreshing Pepsi. One mouth-watering sip is all it takes to make this whole experience go from pretty good to jaw-droppingly, table-poundingly incredible. Don't believe me? Just listen. See what I mean? It's like music to my ears. And if you'll excuse me, I have a date with the two most beautiful things I've ever seen. Or heard. Hot dogs. Better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Buffalo Rock Company in Panama City is currently accepting applications for delivery merchandisers, as well as other positions. Please apply online at buffalorock.com/careers. Buffalo Rock Company is an equal opportunity employer. It is Buffalo Rock Company policy to provide equal employment opportunities to all qualified applicants, without regard to race, color, religion, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, national origin, age, protected veteran, or disabled status.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs, with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5, and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food, on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison. Broadcasting from the Rib Crib Radio Room. Listen weekday mornings to Coach Hale at 8:15 and the Afternoon Underdogs at 4:45 to win a prize pack and get qualified for the 5-year flyaway.
Straightaway center field. What a missile.
From 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back into the Rib Crib Radio Room. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. You're listening to the greatest station in Northwest Florida, 104.3.
Two representatives in Best of Bay. Let's go.
Let's go.
Right
and we got a guy on weekly. That's the third representative. So we really run the field, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
I mean,
that's where it's at.
Let me not get into making fun of nobody. I don't want to do that. It's all about love and peace and turning the other cheek. Overrated, underrated. 5-year flyaway, like I mentioned earlier, goes off today at 4:45. And then once we get done with that, oh, man, I'm so excited because the excitement level from the listeners is through the roof right now. I got people coming in, they'll get like a gift or whatever, and they're like, man, I'm trying to, or they're picking up their previous prize package from 30 days ago, and they're like, I just want to win I want to win the 5-year flyaway. I want to win. I'm like, big kudos to the promotions team here.
Yeah.
At the studio for putting something like this together, because it makes doing this show fun too. Listener interaction is the whole point. I don't want to sit here and bump my gums for 2 hours without people chiming in and stuff. Yeah. That's the whole point of this is I remember being the person in the vehicle listening, and I love being able to connect with people.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like Wednesday when I was in here and I was answering phones for it, we had a guy call in and he was caller number 1, and then he called back and he was caller number 6. So he's like, oh, man, I'm on either side of it.
Yeah.
Like, keep trying, brother. Keep trying.
But the thing is it 1 through 5 happens so quick that if you are calling number 1, keep calling back. We appreciate it. But the chances are very slim because by the time we hang up with you, we're going to have caller 3 on line 1. So it's fast. But you guys, I appreciate y'all so much. So, with that being said, Best of Bay, as Adam was mentioning earlier, go to espnpc.com, throw a vote in for me or throw a vote in for Coach Hale. Either way, I'm a team player. I'm not trying to be the MVP. I could be co-MVP all day long, but vote for me or vote for Coach James Hale. Let's get into some overrated, underrated here.
And this is the last weekend. Monday's the last day, is it not? the 18th, I believe.
Yeah.
So this is the last weekend, folks. So
thanks for keeping track for me, brother.
Get on there. You can do it once a day too. So do one today, do one Saturday, do one Sunday.
Next year, you're going to be my campaign manager.
Right on.
We're going to make this happen. It's going to be a dark humor campaign.
The way things are going in the country, I think it would.
No. This is not the Coach Hale show. I know. I probably did that. Oh, no. Someone's logging in there. So that's out of our control. Let's get into overrated, underrated. Sorry to do that. I was just like, let's
temper things here a little bit. Right.
Baltimore Orioles right now. Yes, great win streak. Is it over 10 games now, or did they?
I don't know if they won yesterday.
9 was the last I heard.
So they definitely hit 10. They definitely hit 10. We'll let Adam check on that. Overrated, underrated Baltimore Orioles. I'm going to give 2 answers so that you guys can feel free to give this as well. Right now, they're underrated. But they are becoming they're getting a lot of media lovings right now. They're going to fall short of the playoffs, and probably once that month of September beginning or the end of August, at that point, how we see them now will be overrated. But I'm extremely proud. Not proud. I'm not a fan. I love it for the game of baseball. Anytime that what's the name of this show? The Afternoon Underdogs.
Right.
I love underdogs, man. I think those are the best stories, bar none. You can give me the Tom Brady guy, but still, actually, there's a freaking tangent of that is an underdog, right? We're talking about a guy who's became the GOAT of football, who was the last pick in football in that particular year.
Mm-hmm.
So
Orioles were off yesterday, so that 10 game
still at 10
game. They play the Rays in a 3-game set starting tonight in Tampa.
I say they're overrated. I mean, I hate to say that. They're doing well. They've got a nice win streak put together, but it's the Orioles, you got to show me longer than just, a few weeks or a month. If you're doing that and that's it, that's just an admiration. Who cares about that? You're known for being pretty much one of the worst, not only teams in baseball, but one of the worst teams in sports. Sorry, Cecil, if you're listening, buddy. I mean, I'm just trying to be truthful, and it's nice that they're getting all the media attention right now. They deserve it finally, and I'm sure their fans probably enjoying it because at least it's they're getting attention for something positive instead of negativity or being like the punchline of a joke.
Yeah,
a lot of times.
That's a good.
That's what's good about it. But like I said, it's got to be overrated just because they haven't done it long enough, and there's a lot of hype right now. They're like Jeremy Lin right now. On par, maybe.
That is, but if you shorten it up to take Jeremy Lin's career, right, but you put it in I'm
just talking when Linsanity was going on. This is basically
that's what I'm saying. It's a good point because it's like everyone went crazy over it, but the sustainability was not there.
Water's going to find its level eventually.
That is a good point. AG.
Right now, I think they're underrated. If you look at
that's why I said underrated.
If you look at where they're at in the standings right now in the East at 45 wins
and the wild card,
so you look at where they're at right now and what their record is at 45 and 44, they would be third in every other division in baseball right now, right? Second in the AL Central. They'd be second right now in the AL Central.
You put them guys in the AL. Maybe we need a realignment of Major League Baseball. And I'm just kidding because it's geographically
But I'm just saying, you look at it and what they've been able to accomplish with that payroll. I mean,
Max Scherzer alone makes more than them.
Give them their kudos, man.
Oh, yeah, they deserve it.
So I'm down.
I'm saying they're underrated right now.
Yeah.
When it comes to the month of August, when it comes to the beginning of September, and even in August, they might be in contention. That's what people fail to realize, in my opinion, about baseball is when you get to those dog days, when you get to that final week in August, when you're playing in September, it's all in. It's not just your 9 guys that you're used to trotting out on the field. No, we need production from everyone every single day at the toughest point of the year after you've already played 120-something games.
Yeah, I mean, they've already played 34 games in their division, and they're still a game above 500.
Which, the toughest division in baseball.
Yeah, and you want to make sure, hopefully, you stay healthy, too. I mean, you still got a ways to go. You still have to prove that you're not going to have a bunch of guys out with injury.
No doubt about it, man. So let's move on to, since we're on baseball already, superstars in baseball, overrated, underrated. Not a particular. I'm just saying So I'll answer first on this one again. I'm going to say overrated, and here's why. You've got the two best possible players in baseball in Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani on the same team, and what kind of production are you getting out of them?
Mm-hmm.
You take Ronald Acuna Jr., best player on the Atlanta Braves, out for the season last year. What do the Braves do? With an 88-win season, they win the World Series. I don't think that superstars are the answer. I don't think that they're a necessity. Look at the Tampa Bay Rays. They never hold on to them. I would say that this is the lone sport. Football may be included, but you got to have that quarterback, which in turn becomes a superstar. I think that superstars in baseball are overrated. Fun for the game, great for the game, not a necessity to winning the coveted World Series.
I think they are overrated unless you have an endless money pit. Like
Dodgers.
the Yankees or Mets or Dodgers, right?
But tell me, what if the
because
Yankees
if you're a small market team though, and you're throwing, $35 to $40 million a year at one player, that's typically 25 to 35% of your entire payroll, and there's nothing else you can do to try to get stars in there, to get great players in there. So I think it depends on the team, but baseball needs those superstars from a marketing standpoint, but I think it's overrated when you have, one, superstar that's on your team, because at the end of the day, they can only do so much. It's not like, excuse me, it's not like the NBA where you've got a Jordan that can just go in and dominate in the fourth quarter, or LeBron or somebody like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
I think it kind of depends though on the game and the team. I mean, certain teams, okay, if it's in the NL and you have the DH, you can have a guy that can help out all the time, every day, just batting alone. He doesn't even have to field. When it comes to pitching, obviously the guy's, maybe on the mound once every 4 or 5 days. So even if you spend a lot of money, you got a superstar pitcher, he's not affecting every day's game.
In today's game in the playoffs, he's pitching 4 to 5 innings max.
So, it really depends.
Not max, but closer.
I mean, on average, you're about 4 to 5 innings.
That's why a great bullpen is bigger than a superstar.
Absolutely.
Right. And it just depends, like I would say, again, on position, on there's certain guys that would, command, you want a bigger name, you want a better athlete, a better star at a certain position, as opposed to probably just some role player. When it comes to like pitching, it's always good to have a really good catcher, helping the pitcher out, calling games. Like I said, the DH doesn't hurt now since it's on both sides, and it can help you out every day. But for the most part, no, we've seen that you can win with just basically role players, or come very close to winning too. Teams like the Kansas City Royals playing small ball without a bunch of big names.
I'll bring in another name here, Fernando Tatis Jr. To the fans, he was voted in as an all-star. Not voted in. Very close. Way too close to being voted in as an all-star.
Hasn't stepped in the batter's box at all this year.
Exactly. All right.
Because people just pick names.
That's why I'm saying superstars in baseball mean much to the fans, but have no meaning. Not no meaning. They're overrated when it comes to on the field. However, the reasons why these teams want to go after them, what's the biggest reason? Tails in the seats. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Taking a quick time out. We'll be back in just a few moments. Right State Chris will be calling in here shortly. We'll be talking some NHL. If we don't go that way, how do you think people would feel about Dustin Johnson or another Live Tour player winning a major tournament, such as the Open?
This is how we do it. It's Friday.
Weather in Northwest Florida can change on a dime.
Gale force winds bombarded with heavy rain.
That's why 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has the most up-to-date forecast on the Gulf Coast. Hi, this is staff meteorologist Tim Root. With over 40 years of experience, I know just how fast we can go from sun and fun to a serious situation. For the most accurate and detailed weather when it matters, rely on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Reliable Copy Products is proud to be the exclusive dealer in Northwest Florida for Kyocera office equipment. Reliable Copy Products has been committed to providing professional, personalized service for the last 35 years. They understand that the right equipment does not always fall within today's budget requirements, so they offer several options for the equipment you need today for the growth you expect tomorrow. Call James Smothers at 784-6601, 784-6601. Reliable Copy Products on Harrison Avenue, just north of Bay High School.
As a realtor, it's important who you choose as your title company. May we suggest South Oak Title? Their offices are modern, comfortable, and state-of-the-art. South Oak Title can close transactions in any location in Florida, Alabama, and Tennessee. Their free mobile app allows realtors to deliver a net sheet in seconds. They provide mobile closing services to accommodate buyers and sellers. Their offices are beautifully decorated, state-of-the-art, complete, safe, and secure. South Oak Title, creating a better title and closing experience through technology and tailored service. Visit them online at southoaktitle.com.
Since 1955, Buddy Gandy's Seafood Market has been providing their customers with the freshest seafood in Panama City. Whether you're cooking something small or hosting a big get-together, Buddy Gandy's has you covered with a variety of fish, oysters, shrimp, crab legs, live blue crabs, a steam bar, and more. They'll even clean your catch for you. Open 7 days a week near the intersection of Beck Avenue and Highway 98. Don't forget to mention 104.3 ESPN for your 10% discount. Visit Buddy Gandy's Seafood Market on Facebook.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida are proud members of the Panama City Beach Chamber. We'd like to welcome the newest members to the Beach Chamber.
Chastity's Cleaning, Bowden Plumbing and Electrical, The Grout Doctor, ISO League, and Havana Night Restaurant and Bakery.
Congratulations from the area's only sports radio station, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Broadcasting from the Rib Crib Radio Room. You're riding shotgun with the Afternoon Underdogs. We're going to need some gas money. The Afternoon Underdogs.
Fill her up, please.
At 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
What is going on, Northwest Florida? Welcome back, man. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. It's 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Got about 10 minutes till we open those phone lines up. Can't wait for it. Let's get into...
Speaking of phone lines, I got Rice.
Okay.
I got Rice State Chris on line one.
Rice State Chris is on the line, so we'll kick some hockey around for a little bit. Rice State Chris, what's going on, my man? Brother, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I cannot hear you at all.
Yeah, you're very, very low.
Yeah, do me a favor. Give me a call back around 5:45 if possible. I'm going to go ahead and get through this segment and work on these phone lines a little bit more. All right, man. Thanks so much. Yeah, I got to do some work on this. I might even have to turn this segment over to you guys, and because we've got a big segment coming up here next. So
no, I got you.
So let's get into. Well, this is a question from you, so I feel like you could take it from here, and I can get this fixed pretty quickly here. How do you think people would feel if a live golfer wins the Open, such as Dustin Johnson? But you've got a good amount of them right now that are kind of climbing up that leaderboard, but also your boy Cam Smith doing some damage right now.
Yeah, it's. I posed the question to you guys earlier this morning. I thought it was going to be interesting. Obviously with no Tiger. He obviously sets the bar in terms of ratings and things like that. I thought it would be interesting if, you had somebody like DJ and Rory who are, arguably two of the biggest proponents for each of their sides. Like if they were in the final pairing on Sunday at the Open, how interesting would that be?
That'd be awesome.
And then, you've got, obviously as an American, you've got an American in Dustin Johnson there versus, an Irishman in Rory McIlroy trying to win the Open, and we want an American to win it, but are we pulling for DJ because he went to the Live Tour or not? I just thought it would be an interesting question to ask you guys.
I'm fine with whoever wins, actually. I don't care if it's a Live golfer, if it's somebody from the PGA Tour. I think the rivalry's great. I think it adds some spice in the, what's going on, because golf, from, your average person probably thinks it's kind of stuffy, a little boring, if you will, a little too, I don't want to say weak, but, there's usually no jarring back and forth. There's really no, finger pointing or anything like that going on with any of the players. And it's kind of cool to see a little bit of, I don't want to say aggression, but a little animosity between some of the guys. And like you were saying, if you were to get, like, say, DJ and Rory together on a final pairing, man, that'd be awesome for, like, a Sunday.
Yeah, it would definitely move the needle for me. Getting those two who are very, very vocal in their own stances. Going head to head for it. I just thought that it would be absolutely incredible TV.
I think we're going to have Wright State Chris calling back to give my thoughts on this situation here. I think it's good for the game of golf, man. But I'll tell you this. I don't think that the Open wants them to win. I think that they've been trying to.
I don't think the Open cares. I think the Tour doesn't want them to win.
No, I think that of the majors that we've seen this year, which the Masters really didn't have to deal with it very much, of the majors that we've seen this year, I think that you are getting some pushbacks from some of the top head guys at the RNA. And maybe it's just NBC or whatever, but they're really trying their hardest not to even bring up Liv. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, because at the end of the day, who's got the stronger relationship with these major, the corporations around the majors or whatever? It's the PGA Tour. They have the stronger alliance. Let's get to Wright State Chris. We'll revisit this question for sure. Wright State Chris, let's see how we're sounding now.
Better?
Oh wow. Crystal clear, son.
It sounded like you were still calling from Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's going on? What's your take on the Tampa Bay Lightning and the offseason that we've had to this point with free agency just starting yesterday? Goodbye to our friend Andre Palat.
It's tough, man. Palat, you go back to years ago, you had, key overtime winners against Boston and, last-second goals. And it's also tough because, he's like a 5th or 6th round draft pick that worked his way up, and it's just it's tough when you got to lose those guys, especially when someone's so clutch. Like John, Coach talked about it, how he's the blue-collar guy that works well with all the white-collar guys, and you need that grit, and he made such clutch shots. But the identity of Tampa Bay, more so than anything else, is defense and goalie. And we needed Chernak, we needed Sergachev, and, Sorelli's the lockdown defender now. And you could tell years ago that Sorelli was going to be a stud, just not at scoring goals. But, Sorelli's a stud out there. If you watched enough Tampa Bay, you know that Sorelli needs to be on this team. And Palat's in his 30s, and it's just he's a premium. And, God bless him. He got a great contract from New Jersey, and that's where, he set up his family for the rest of his life, But, you saw this with the Blackhawks. Patrick Sharp had to go. Brandon Saad had to go. And it's just it's hard to keep everybody unless, Kucherov gets injured for the entire year again, But
then we get to bring in someone else with that, with the way that they run those things. You brought up the relationship between blue collar and white collar there, and it kind of made me think of two, and I'm sure that there's plenty of other occupations out there, but that the correlation there between blue collar and white collar is absolutely important, right? So it makes me think of construction. You got your foreman guys, which are more or less not your foreman, but the guys who drive around in the truck majority of the time. And
the general contractor.
The general contractor, right?
Delegating.
He's more of a white collar guy, but he's got to make sure that his blue collar guys, the guys that are underneath the sun 12 hours a day or more, that they're doing the correct job, but there's got to be a good relationship because it can't just be like, do this, do this, do that. It's got to be with good chemistry, if you will. And then another one, which I think this one just kind of pops in my head, hospitals, right? Because you got the people who don't even deal with patients. I'm not talking the doctors and stuff. I'm talking about the money pushers, the people behind all of these hospitals and the admin and stuff like that. And you got to make sure that your people on the floor maybe aren't just because they're working long shifts too, but there's got to be a good correlation there. So I love that take.
Yeah, and it's just we knew this was coming, and especially when you lock up Cooch and you lock up Bazzi and then you lock up Pointer, for such long terms, and and Stammer's going to take cap friendly deals, until he retires. I was if you heard me talk last year, I said Stammer might need to get traded, but I'm completely wrong on that. Stammer needs to stay as long as Stammer wants to stay. Like, that dude, after what I saw in the Panthers series and everything else, like, that dude is the heart and soul of this team. But like you said, it's going to be tough losing all those guys. It was tough losing the third line last year, but hopefully the young guys can come up and you just see it, especially with a hard cap league like hockey, and hopefully the cap can go up because I hope they're making more money. Like AG says he's watching a little more hockey, and I just wish everyone that could have gotten to hockey at a young age and just the tension building during the playoffs is just it's unrivaled unless you're watching World Cup soccer.
Yeah, Chris. Oh, go ahead. Finish. I'm sorry.
No, go on. No, go ahead, Kevin.
No, I was saying like good stuff, man. But mentioning something you're talking about, like locking people up in these long-term deals. I was wanting to see what you thought about. Like you guys signed, who was it? Sergachev, Sorelli, and Chernak to 8-year deals, and then you got a couple other guys locked up. Me, I'm on the side that I don't like those big long-term deals. I'd like to have it probably no longer than maybe 5 or 6 years top. I think it really handcuffs a team. If you got them locked into a deal like that, especially if they have like a no movement or no trade clause, and then like down the road, if something were to happen and you were wanting to move somebody, it's hard to move that payroll. Now, as far as the cap going too, I believe it should go up. It didn't go up last year, but I really do feel it's going to go up. I don't know how substantial this next year, but it'll probably go up some.
I hope with being with ESPN and trying to get more eyeballs on it, because ESPN.
They better tighten up that daggone broadcast because I tell you, like, I think that the visuals on it are good, and I'm not trying to hate on the guys doing it because I'm about to find out how tough broadcasting actually
Sean McDonough,
is.
I thought, did a good job.
I think they sound good. However, the amount of errors, when you're talking about the Stanley Cup final, it's like you're talking about the Super Bowl. You can't call people by the wrong name. You know what I mean? And they did that quite a lot in the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah.
And you were talking about it yesterday. You can't take your eyes away from the action on the ice at all. And I felt like they like all of a sudden.
Hey, Rice, hey, Chris, man, I gotta go. We're up against a break. It's not the legal ID, but I gotta get to it. Thanks so much for the call, my man. All right, we're going to go to a break. We'll be back in just a few moments. You know what that means. Ding, ding, ding. Go ahead and light them lines up.
June 26th, 2017, a radio station was born. For 5 years, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has been the undisputed and still undefeated leader for sports on the Panhandle. Thanks for 5 years of broadcasting history from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Earthworks of Northwest Florida knows it's a perfect time for you to update your home. Whether it's routine touch-ups or a new look, Earthworks has just what you need. Sand, stone, mulch, and gravel, pickup or delivery. Visit earthworks.com and request a quote. Discover your dream landscape with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Love the land you live on. Earthworks of Northwest Florida, 2005 Industrial Drive. The newest and most authentic Mexican restaurant on Panama City Beach, El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, 1136 Thomas Drive across from the Navy base. Not only do they have a great location and atmosphere, but they also have happy hour from 3 to 7. Buy one, get one free, regular margaritas and 12-ounce house drafts. And you're going to love their lunch specials Monday through Friday from 11 to 3. Plus, live music on Wednesdays and Saturdays from 5:30 until 9. El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, Thomas Drive, across from the Navy base.
Bay Handyman Services is your complete home services company. Their slogan is listen better, plan better, build better. Bay Handyman Services holds a 5-star rating, and they're a local company serving Bay and surrounding counties. They offer a wide variety of services, from simply hanging a picture to full house remodels. Bay Handyman Services provides 24/7 emergency services. Call them at 850-753-5014 or visit their website, bayhandymanservices.com.
Swampy Jack here. I've traveled the world for decades and brought my most exciting adventures to Panama City Beach. Encounter the 25-foot-tall Swamp Ape. This indoor scrambler ride is synchronized for a multimedia experience like you've never felt. Put the pedal to the metal, racing around the Marrakesh track in electric go-karts. Supercharge your kart with special power-ups for extra speed or to sabotage opponents. And if you're hungry, grab a meal at Swampy's Cantina or enjoy an ice-cold beer. This and more at Swampy Jack's.
Broadcasting from the Rib Crib Radio Room. Listen weekday mornings to Coach Hale at 8:15 and the Afternoon Underdogs at 4:45 to win a prize pack and get qualified for the 5-year flyaway.
Straightaway center field. What a missile.
From 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
All right, we're back. We're inside the Rib Crib Radio Room, and we've got caller number 5 on for the 5-year flyaway to see the Atlanta Braves. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. Who we got on the line with us? Lance, my man, congratulations. How you feel about being caller number 5 today?
Good. I've been trying for a little while.
Yeah, man, that is great stuff. Great to have you on with us. Oh, yeah, that's right. You can't. I'm over here telling my guy to bring it down, and he's like, I can't do it.
Yeah, I have no control over
here. It's in the
here.
system. We do have a little bit of control. You just got to bring down the DJB.
I'm not touching those buttons, brother.
He's not touching. Anyways, Lance, well, so tell me what you think's going to happen with the Atlanta Braves this year. What's the chances? What's the likelihood they repeat this year?
Good if the whole lineup can hit at the same time.
There we go, man. I love it. So you are entered in, and not only that, you've also won a $25 gift card to Rudy's Barbecue, as well as a 12-pack of Buffalo Rock, man. We'll see you here soon.
All right, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir. That is Lance, man. And actually, big shout-out to Lance. I don't think I've ever talked about this on the air, but when we first moved into our house, we've got a Steverson air conditioning unit, and he was the guy to come out there and kind of resurface it after we had moved in. So big shout out to Lance. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll have your chance at Monday at 4:45, also 8:15 in the morning with the Coach James Hale Show. Another quick reminder, speaking of the Coach James Hale Show and our show as well right here, the Afternoon Underdogs, we are nominated for the Best of Bay, so head on over to ESPNPC.com and vote either Coach Hale or David Hayes for, not even David Hayes, the Afternoon Underdogs for the Best of Bay, brought to you by the Panama City News Herald. Let's get into Defend Your Stance, and this is brought to you by Emerald Coast Damsel, Independent Damsel Pro for Damsel in Defense, July 23rd and the 24th. We're going to be in Jacksonville, Florida. We pity the fool who doesn't use our tool. I'm excited about this next question because AG, a Louisville fan, is Lamar Jackson the most unfairly criticized athlete?
In the NFL or just overall?
We'll keep it to a category of the NFL.
I think so.
Yeah?
I do. The dude has done more with less in his tenure there. I mean, he missed the first 6 games. He didn't start. Flacco did. He comes in, takes that team back to the playoffs. Then the next year he wins the MVP, setting records, doing stuff that people said he couldn't do. The following year he follows up with even better performance over the air, or through the air, excuse me, and still doing it on the ground. If you've looked at the work that he's put in, I shared a photo of him the other day with you guys, and he's jacked. I mean, he's not the little skinny kid that was beaten up on Florida State during his Heisman campaign. And last year they had a lot of injuries, and I know NFL is a battle of attrition.
Those injuries, yeah.
Toward the end, but he didn't. But he didn't get that injury running out of the pocket.
Yeah,
he got it in the pocket. So it was just one of those things. But you look at his weapons that he has, and outside of Mark Andrews, there's really not much that he's had to work with throwing the ball.
He's basically the weapon.
Right. So I feel like he gets a large share of criticism that I think is not solely on him.
And I don't think that it's necessarily the mobile quarterback issue here that he gets unfairly criticized for. I would say that it's somewhat unfair. And here's why. This is why it's unfair in my opinion. Because ESPN lets out the scouts, coaches, these guys put together a top 10 quarterback list, and you put a guy like Deshaun Watson above Lamar Jackson, a guy who hasn't played in a year, a guy who's 28 and 26 as a starter, whereas we talk about Lamar Jackson, who's 30 and 8 as a starter. Now, the caveat there is that he's 1 and 3 in the playoffs. All right, that's one of those things, but we can sit there and go eye for eye, tooth for tooth on guys who just didn't do well in the playoffs. I do think that there is some merit to this. I would say that maybe not the most. Dak's up there with him, but Dak has had time. You know what I mean? Dak's got weapons around him and stuff. Dak chose to scramble with
put
14
CeeDee Lamb and
seconds
Amari
left on the
Cooper
clock.
on the Ravens roster with Lamar during his MVP season.
Does he have the accuracy to hit him? Then that becomes a fair assessment, right?
Yeah.
Until you got great receivers,
Right.
that accuracy, I don't know, because it looks like he's putting balls in the right spot most of the
Hollywood
time.
dropped a lot of balls in Baltimore last year.
And now he'll be
touchdowns.
He'll be helping.
I would say he's pretty much unfairly criticized. Yes, he's still pretty much called a running back. You know, by most people.
That's a good take.
Comparing him with Dak, I don't know about that. Dak was picked further along. I mean, you know, Lamar. You know, they moved up to get Lamar. So I mean, when you do that, there's a higher standard. You know, that you're supposed to move up to, or you're supposed to get to. Dak, you know, being a third, fourth round pick, and all the problems that he's had over in Dallas. I mean, like, look at Zeke. Every year he's rushed, it's been less yards, you know, since he came into the league.
Yeah,
he's not getting, you know, great help, you know, as far as that goes either. But getting off his Dak, because that's not what the topic's about.
I brought it in there, boy. You know the rabbit holes.
Lamar, he's done a lot with very little on a team that, you know. I mean, he is a runner, and they do that. That's the nature of this team. It is a running team, like a run-first team.
Yeah.
So he fits in as far as that goes, because if the pass play breaks down, he can still make plays with his legs. The only criticism that's fair is maybe the health one, you know. But again, he can probably mitigate that himself. One, by not, you know, running as much, or, you know, hitting the dirt and sliding maybe a little sooner, learning how to do that to avoid some of the hits, do like a Tom Brady kind of thing, and just go down if it looks like you're going to get hit instead of, you know, trying to run through somebody. Longevity, you know, always helps your careers out and stuff too. If he keeps going the way he's going, he could be like an RG3 here pretty soon. So,
I don't know. I
don't know, man. Like, if he keeps running and, you know, he gets
but he didn't get hurt running around though and scrambling or running for a first down. He got hurt on a 5-step drop. And
right. I mean, like, you're still hurt, okay, and you still have gotten hurt. Okay, that's one time now. That hasn't been through contact that way, but eventually it's going to happen.
I got about 2 minutes
somebody's
here.
Somebody's going to light you up sooner or later.
I got about 2 minutes here, and I've had this question in since Tuesday, and we still haven't got it in. So you got a tied game. There's 30 seconds left. Forrest Gump wants to go home. Bobby Boucher thinks Forrest was talking about his mom. Could Bobby Boucher stop Forrest Gump?
He'd have to catch him first. So I would say no.
That's the question, right?
No.
Well, I don't think there's a right answer here, but I was just thinking about playing that image in my mind. And Forrest Gump is like, I want to go home.
Somebody
Boucher,
needs to make that happen on Twitter or something.
Forrest Gump did play for Alabama as well, whereas Bobby
So
Boucher,
is that going to change your answer?
Well, I'm just saying, like, they're overall the better team than what it was like
Southeast Louisiana State or something.
You know, Polytech or something where he went to school.
No, I don't think he could stop him,
We're
man.
talking about a one-on-one event, but when you bring that in, that is so true.
But, I mean, Forrest was an All-American.
Yeah.
Look at all the 27 Dr. Peppers he drank at the White House meeting Kennedy. I mean, come on, let's go.
Maybe we need like a Bobby Boucher Waterboy sequel to where we can see what happened after that initial season with Bobby Boucher.
But no,
he made some high-quality H2O.
Right, but you saw what Forrest did when he got that ball in his hands, man. I mean, like, they needed buzzers and signs to stop that man. Bobby Boucher ain't stopping him.
I got 30 seconds here. If the draft was today, every quarterback in NFL history is eligible. Who you build your franchise around? AG?
Joe Burrow.
You got quarterbacks from ever and ever ago, and he wants to go with his current quarterback.
I got the faith.
Good job, man. I'm gonna go with. I almost want to go Randall Cunningham, but my favorite quarterback of all time, probably Peyton Manning. I would go Peyton Manning.
Okay.
Randall's a good one, and I'm not going to lie, I was thinking about going there, but I already said, you know, talking about the comparisons with Tom Brady and stuff earlier, you got to go Joe Montana. Perfect.
Joe Montana. All right, when we get back, it's going to be time for a rapid fire. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. It's 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hey, Braves fans. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has your chance to win weekly prizes from Slim Chicken, Rudy's Barbecue, That Boot Store, Guthrie's, and Rib Crib with Atlanta Braves Trivia. Step 1, open the ESPN Northwest Florida app and click Braves Trivia. Step 2, answer trivia about a recent game. Step 3, score some tasty prizes and come home a hero. The Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast. Listen live on 104.3 in the ESPN Northwest Florida app.
Weather forecast for this afternoon. Good chance of showers and thunderstorms. Partly to mostly cloudy at times. Highs around 85. South wind at 10. And the water temperature in the Gulf is holding at 86. More showers and thunderstorms overnight. The low around 75. Showers and thunderstorms over the weekend. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Dr. Chad Mitchell, orthopedic surgeon, specializing in sports medicine and joint replacement of the knee, shoulder, and hip. He serves our local athletes and our community. Southern Orthopedic Specialist has been the leader in orthopedic care for over 20 years. New patients are welcome. Call 850-769-KNEE to schedule an appointment. More about Dr. Mitchell and Southern Orthopedic Specialist is available on their website, southernorthopedic.com. Southern Orthopedic, getting you back in the game.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
From the Florida Panama line to the Gulf of Mexico, WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DM Mariana, powered by Pepsi, ESPN Northwest Florida.
PCB Coins and Cards is the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, coins, and trading card games. PCB Coins and Cards carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Coins and Cards has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel, rookie, game-used, and autograph cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? Bring it in and let us take a look. We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Coins and Cards on Back Beach Road just east of Florida Linen. Call them today at 850-320-8388.
Transmission starts in 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting from the Rib Crib Radio Room. The Afternoon Underdogs are taking your calls live. 850-215-6290. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hour number 2 of the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes. We got Caveman Rick, Adam Goff, and Sydney Fields all the way from Little Rock, Arkansas in the Rib Crib Radio Room with us. We've got 2 segments here coming up that's going to focus more on not just the Arkansas Razorbacks football, but Arkansas Razorbacks softball and what else is going around in the world of softball. This segment's brought to you by Bay Handyman Services. Listen better, they plan better, and build better. Reach them at their office number, 850-753-5014. They've got 24/7 emergency services. Also, reach them on their website at bayhandymanservices.com. They hold a 5-star rating, and they'll do anything from hanging pictures to a full house remodel. That's 850-753-5014. And the Atlanta Braves tonight, coverage starts at 6 o'clock. First pitch, 6:05. Looking to get another one on the Washington Nationals this evening. Them. Well, yeah, I mean, we better with the way that they're playing baseball right now. We got to keep it moving. But, Sydney, welcome in with us. How you doing this afternoon?
I'm great. I'm so happy to be here with you guys.
Yeah, this is actually one of maybe it's the second or third time where I've collaborated with someone over Twitter or something like that, and then they actually come in studio. So, and that's wild, being that you're from Arkansas. So, really great to have you in here with us.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to be here. I love talking to you guys.
Hey, no doubt, we appreciate it because you guys both, you, Chandler, y'all brought a lot of help to me, especially on days when I'm in here by myself. But really good coverage, like stuff that I had to go search for. It was right there on my front doorstep, and I just got to go to you guys' Twitter website or your Twitter pages and check you out, and I'm good to go from there. Let's get into some rapid fire here. Start off with the start bench cut. Kyler Murray, Derek Carr, Justin Herbert. Who do you start, who do you bench, and who do you cut? We'll start with you, AG.
Start Herbert, bench Carr, cut Kyler.
Any disagreements there anyway?
That's the exact way I was going to go. I can't argue there one bit.
And for Kyler, it's not even his performance. It's his mentality. He's a baby. If he doesn't get his way, he acts out.
So basically, you're saying...
He's a child.
Mine's performance-based.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Carr's a better quarterback, and
I think Carr is definitely a better quarterback.
I think he's
a better leader.
Good chance for MVP this year.
So. Dude. I got Herbert and the Chargers winning the AFC
Quick
West.
Plug right here: buying some cards, Panama City coins and cards, getting some Herbert rookies. I think they're going up.
There you go.
There you go. But so basically, your take on Kyler is like mine of Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
I mean, just a crybaby, man. I'm right there with you, though. Got to start Justin Herbert. You got to take Derek Carr and bench him just because he's got 14 comeback wins in the fourth quarter.
And look what he did with the Raiders team last year and all that turmoil.
That's insane. I don't think it'll ever to be able to go through a situation like that. You lose your head coach, not even at the beginning of the season,
to some seriously nefarious activities.
Right. And now you've got to be the guy who steps up to the podium and answers all those questions.
Receiver too, in a crazy situation, is the total circus and a mess.
Oh my goodness. What
Sydney,
do you think, Sydney?
Yeah, you're a Patriots fan, right?
Oh, yeah, but Justin Herbert's one of my favorite quarterbacks right now.
Okay.
In the NFL, he's super fun to watch, but I definitely start him, bench Derek, cut Kyler.
So we're all in agreement then.
Yeah, that is all the way across the board. Let's go into, Sydney, what's the favorite piece of memorabilia that you own?
Tom Brady's Super Bowl jersey.
No.
Like the actual one or just like a replica with the patch?
No, just the patch.
Okay.
Still, that's a good piece of memorabilia for sure. What you got, Caveman Rick?
For me, I don't have a ton of stuff anymore, but probably my autographed Mike Eruzione Team USA hockey jersey. It's pretty cool.
You want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm still thinking.
All right. Man, I've got so much stuff that's been like that our awesome listeners have gifted to me since being here. Well, I think my favorite, to be honest with you, is Chris Johnson, the year he got the 2,000 rushing yards, signed football. Chris Johnson signed football. That one, Johnny Bench home plate by that Raider Dennis gave me, and I ended up giving that to my grandpa, but
it'll get willed back to you. He'll get that in a while.
So that one's pretty special to me just because that was my grandpa's favorite, like one of his favorite players. So it kind of meant a lot to me to be able to give him something like that. But there's still something different about when it's a player of that was on your team. You know what I mean? Like, she's a Patriots fan. Tom Brady, Super Bowl jersey.
Yeah.
That's top of the line.
For me, I would have to say I have an autograph, and it's just on a piece of notebook paper, but it's from Big O, Oscar Robertson. Yeah. My dad saw him in an airport in Houston. It was his dad. It was my dad's favorite basketball player growing up, and he saw him and he sat down with him, said he was a super nice guy. He signed a piece of paper to me and my brother, and so I'd have to say that.
What sports memory would you want erased from your mind? Caveman Rick? Put you on the spot?
I'll say
I can start.
I know which one. Super Bowl, Eagles versus Patriots, and we lose.
All right, AG, if you need a second to think,
go ahead.
I
go ahead.
Rattle off so many. I'm like, someone hit me with a machine that'll erase memories. One, first and foremost, the kick six. If I could just forget that and I'll relive it vicariously through other people or whatever, that's fine. I would love to be able to forget that one. And the Braves melting down against the Cardinals in Game 3, I believe, of the Wild Card Series, where they scored like 9 runs in the first inning. That's one. And then, obviously, as a Tennessee Titans fan, Kevin Dyson, 1 yard short, Super Bowl against the greatest show on turf in the St. Louis at that point in time, Rams. I would love to be able to forget that memory.
I'd have to say the 99 Reds. We got into a 1-game playoff with the Mets, and that team was stacked and loaded in 99, and they had never been shut out the entire season, and they lost 1-0 to Al Leiter and the Mets in a 1-game playoff and missed the playoffs because of that.
Sydney?
I got to say, the entire Chad Morris era at Arkansas, those were like the worst years ever. And then definitely the 2018, or maybe 2018 College World Series championship game, pop up straight to right field, foul ball. Ball just drops in the middle of 3 people in the championship series against Oregon State.
Oh, no.
And Arkansas just lost it all right there.
It just melted down after that.
Meltdown.
Isn't it crazy?
It was game 2, and everything melted after that.
Isn't it crazy how momentous one little thing like that, because that's not even necessarily a mistake.
Right.
It did drop in between three people, but it's just crazy how those things and mistakes can play into, you go from riding a high to riding absolute lows. That great
It's
stuff.
that snowball rolling down the hill where it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah.
Which team has the best chance at ending their playoff drought? Talking NFL here. New York Jets, Miami Dolphins, two teams that Sydney could care less for. The Denver Broncos and the Detroit Lions. Now, I'll start off with this one. I think that first, like, you got Miami and Denver right there that are kind of poised. Like I said earlier, with Tua and the Dolphins, they've got Rory over there. Now, Denver, they bring in Russell Wilson. I'm going to go with the off-the-chart answer here just because I love what Detroit is a fun team to watch. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'll change it then.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I love what they bring with Dan Campbell. A little awkward at the podium sometimes, but he brings in great sound bites with biting kneecaps and stuff like that. Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then still, I'm not the biggest believer in Jared Goff at all. I think that he got to a Super Bowl appearance on the back of Todd Gurley, but still, we'll see if I highly doubt it, but it's the most fun to think about, the Detroit Lions getting into the playoffs.
I'm going to say the Miami Dolphins. Right now, I mean, they got, people in free agency, and moving up now, I mean, with Tua, this is go time. It's do or die. So if you can't do it now, when are you going to do it? Right now, I mean, the Bills are the class of the division. We've seen New England having its issues. Belichick's never really been a great drafter to begin with anyways, and that team is not full of a whole bunch of stars. Not like it, was before. Even they didn't have like a whole lot of stars. They still played better with just the role guys that they had. In Denver, I don't see it happen. I don't think Russ is going to cook, and I think they finish fourth in that division because that's going to be the toughest division in football this year. So by default, it's got to be Miami.
Couple online notes here. Nick says App State versus Michigan is one he would like to forget.
Oh,
that was fun.
Man, not
that was
me,
in
though.
the big house.
As a sports fan, I love that.
And then Bill Horner says Lions Bengals Super Bowl in 2024.
And Sydney is.
Bill, I like where you're
Sydney's
at.
popping our numbers up over here on Facebook. She's got hi Sydney we got Sherry, Barbara, Crawford, Bobby Crawford, Lindsay. Man, everybody's just like, I love it. Thank you so much, Sydney, for bringing some popularity to this show.
So out of those four, who are you going with, Sydney?
I'm going with Miami. I don't think Russ is going to do it.
He's not going to cook?
I don't think so. And Tua just got a lot of receivers over there that if he can throw the ball well, they can make some plays. So I think Miami does it.
I love that. Are you a big movie watcher?
Here and there.
See, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I don't even think here and there covers it. These guys are, however. So I'm going to give y'all the chance to give me an overrated sports movie and an underrated sports movie. And if you've got some, Sydney, hop into it. Me myself, I don't know, man. I'll think about it. Go ahead, though. Overrated sports movie, underrated sports movie. If I'm putting you on the spots, we'll move on to another question.
No, okay, underrated. For me, that's an easy one. I'll say the movie Slapshot that most people probably don't even know or haven't even seen. If you don't, know it, even if you don't like hockey, watch it because it's an enjoyable movie. You'll laugh your butt off. It's got fights in it. It has all kinds of action, funny one-liners. It's a cool movie to check out. And then one that's overrated. Probably one of the baseball movies that are out there. Everybody always wants to watch.
He took a whole genre of sports movies and said, you know what?
One of them.
Baseball's kind of slow. It is what it is. Overrated.
The Natural. How about that?
See, y'all just taking all of my takes, man. Because I was going to say The Natural because it's very boring.
Yeah.
And it doesn't follow the book where he dies. So it's just, for me, it's overrated. Like, I've never been a big fan of that. Underrated, I would have to say Hardball with Keanu Reeves. Very, very fun movie. And, of course, it's sad at the end, but very, very good baseball movie.
Good stuff there. Like I said, I really don't. I would say that an overrated movie to me, and I might get a lot of clap back from this, The Blind Side, man.
Okay.
The Blind Side, to me, it just, like, I don't know. I love Sandra Bullock. You know what I'm saying?
And your boy Saban's in it, too.
Yeah, right. Well, they got a plethora amount of coaches in there, and they do a good job. But to me, after watching it the first time, I was like, I'd probably never even think about watching that movie again. I'm sure that we got a caller. 850-215-6290 is the number to give us a holler. We'll get you on the line. If you got any great sports takes, we are ready for it. Which team?
Do the move. Oh, never mind.
Go ahead.
Also, you want to do the movie line one? Or?
Yeah, if you got one. Like I said, I put these things in here when I know I got people who like movies because I'm like, my attention span's not long enough. Single best line from a sports movie, AG.
It's a very quick and simple one, but it's Up Your Butt, Joe Boo from Major League.
I remember that. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Major League is a good movie.
That was a
Sometimes
classic,
it comes
man.
on the old antenna every now and again.
Yeah.
I like mine from the great movie Rocky IV. If he dies, he dies.
Lil Wayne made a whole song about
Right. Sydney, you got one?
I don't have one,
No?
but I think the most underrated movie for me would be Greater. It's on Netflix. It's about a former Razorback player, Brandon Burlsworth, and it's a really good one if you haven't seen it. But other than that, I don't really have an overrated
That's
one.
a good take, though, because I think underrateds are the more fun to kind of think about because there's a lot of people who haven't seen them, and then so now they go and they'll be like, well, it's on Netflix, you
It's
said,
on
right?
Netflix,
So you go on to Netflix, you check out Greater. We got a caller on the line.
Yeah,
What
Richard
could be
wants to
greater
chime
than
in on the movie line.
that? Richard, my man, what's going on?
It's a cool subject. So my favorite line from a sports movie is "There's no crying in baseball."
Oh,
The League of Their Own.
in
Yeah.
baseball.
Tom Hanks, good pick.
Yeah, and I totally agree. The Natural is a very boring movie. I hated it.
Yep.
And but I actually like what's the one in the cornfield?
Field of
Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that one. That was cool at the time. I really thought it was
Reds Cubs this year.
It was a cool place to go. But no crying in baseball is my top line.
That is good stuff. Hey, Mr. Richard, thanks so much for the call.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay, all right. We got to ask Sydney this one before we get to a break, and then we're going to turn the show over to Sydney. She's hosting from here on out. One's got to go. All right, and we've been talking about this. Not Tiger Woods. Wayne Gretzky, Babe Ruth, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady. One's got to go, and obviously
one of them.
we know one of them is staying.
That's not a fair question.
It's not a fair question, but so I gave the answer of Babe Ruth. He said Tom Brady. He hates Tom Brady because of the cheating allegations.
I said Wayne Gretzky because I'm not a big hockey guy.
I would say Wayne Gretzky, too. The other three are just way too iconic, even though Wayne Gretzky is a legend, but that's an impossible question.
It really is.
Tom's saying no.
Tom's saying no doubt. Hey, you guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. When we get back, we're going to learn a little bit more about Sydney, what she does, what she coaches, and then we're going to be talking about the Arkansas Razorbacks.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Ja Morant thinks he can beat Michael Jordan. Why do people get so crazy about this? MJ has lost at things before. It's possible. But people want to overreact and think that, that can never happen because that's Michael.
Not to Michael Jordan.
Not to Michael. Michael can never lose a game of one-on-one. I don't understand why this is such a big thing.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings starting at 5 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Weather forecast for this afternoon. Good chance of showers and thunderstorms. Partly to mostly cloudy at times. Highs around 85. South wind at 10. And the water temperature in the Gulf is holding at 86. More showers and thunderstorms overnight. The low around 75. Showers and thunderstorms over the weekend. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Hi folks, I'm Tracy at Tracy's Fine Jewelry. Santa called and he asked me to help everyone get ready for Christmas and avoid the stress and rush. So we've stocked the store and slashed the prices. All colored gemstones have been reduced 50 to 70% off. Emeralds, rubies, sapphires, amethysts, blue topaz, tanzanites, opals, and many more. And we are offering free 6-month layaway. Tracy's Fine Jewelry takes the stress out of the holidays. So shop now where Santa shops during our Christmas in July sale at Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
Start your summer adventure in a new Kia from Bill Berg Kia. Stop by today and discover why everyone is talking about the award-winning Kia. Now offering 1.9% APR for up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2022 Kia Soul. Cruise in confidence in the outgoing and adventurous 2022 Kia Soul that has the perfect balance of comfort, style, and technology. Bill Berg Kia is the home of that 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by today and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBergKia.com. We make buying a car easy and give you peace of mind that you can trust.
Offer from KMF for the purchase of a new 2022 Soul with $2,165 per month per $1,000 financed in 48 months. Quantities limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with any finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Berg Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers must take delivery from dealer stock through 8/1/22.
Show your support for live local radio by voting David Hayes as your favorite afternoon radio personality in the News Herald's Best of the Day.
Go vote. It feels good.
Vote now at ESPNPC.com. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. Inside the Rib Crib Radio Room, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Let's go. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. It's 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. I'm David Hayes. We've got Caveman Rick, Adam Goff, and our guest today, Sydney Fields, contributor for FQ Arkansas, which stands for, I just learned, Fifth Quarter Arkansas. You follow them on Twitter at FQ Arkansas and at WCWS247, which has been my home for finding out things that's going on in the world of college softball. It's one of the things I want to get into, but I'm going to wait until we introduce you. So, Sydney, first off, what do? You coach softball, right?
Yeah, I just started coaching 14-year-olds this past year, and it was super fun. And now that I'm down here, it turns out there's a really big softball tournament going on. So I've gotten to see a couple kiddos out on the beach playing and talk to some of them, and it's just a really fun thing to get into.
That is awesome. I'm sure that you were kind of like in, no pun intended here, but hog heaven when you see that and you're like, oh, it's kind of like home away from home, especially when you kind of got a dreary week this weekend or this week, and so you get to run into those, and that's a lot of them, I'm sure, are right in your age group.
Yeah, I met some younger girls, but I've also seen some older ones, and just like listening to how they've been playing down here, it's just really fun.
Does it make you want to try to get your team into some of these tournaments around here in the future?
Maybe in the future.
I love it, man. So how did you get into coaching?
I actually had a girl reach out to me, and she couldn't do it anymore, and so I said, yeah, I'm interested in doing it. I've been interested for a while, but whenever COVID hit, that kind of pushed that back for a little bit, but I'm really happy to be doing it.
What's your favorite part about coaching? Especially, that's a formidable age right there. You know what I mean? And so not only are parents entrusting a lot of trust into you to take care of their children, but also you have a goal for certain players, for all your players, Right. So what's your favorite thing about coaching?
Well, you have the ones that are there for just like fun and enjoyment, and then you have the ones that are really serious and might want to play college softball in the future and high school and stuff. And just watching their development is really cool. They trust you to help them out, and every time you see improvement in them. And then when you have the girls that don't really play that much and haven't really been that interested, just to get them interested is really fun, and watching them just get better. And we had a mom tell us one time that her daughter completely quit for a while because she had bad coaches, and she complimented us and said that she's having a really good time. So just stuff like that is, really nice to hear.
That's so true. I mean, I love the game of baseball, so there was no coach who was about to run me to death or anything and that take the love away from me, what I mean? Because I just grew up loving it. But there are those in between, you know what I mean? And that's kind of the beauty of sports anyways, because if we didn't have the people who didn't really care to be there, I don't know, because turning someone on to the sport is a lot of fun. So how do you divide that line? Like, are there certain drills or something that you use to incorporate everyone?
I mean, kind of. You kind of, from day one, just want to get everyone together and make sure there's not super big cliques or anything like that. And then just being nice, not just scolding them the whole time, just having fun with them. They want to have fun, and we have fun doing it, so.
Oh, he was just saying he has a question.
No, go ahead, yeah.
That's about it.
Oh, okay. Well, like my niece, she played softball all through high school, and we saw my brother coached as well, and he saw a lot of girls dropping out because they were just playing too much softball. So, my question is, it relates to that a little bit, but say you have a girl that is just absolutely stellar. You see her, signing one day to go play major college softball, but she wants to go play basketball as well. Like, do you encourage that kind of cross-sport behavior, or like how do you handle that?
I think it's good to get your toes in everything and see what you like best, but if you're like super, super good at one thing, I think you just really need to focus on that. But if you have fun doing the other thing, do that. But we experienced this. We had girls that had cheer and basketball and softball and couldn't show up to practices and stuff. And when you're missing games and practices, like, what's the point? You're paying money to play one sport, so why would you want to split up your time and stuff? And I mean, I get it, but at some point you got to decide.
So that's a tough decision, though, right?
Yeah.
For you, because you have to come to the decision first and foremost, right? So then, do you go to the parent or do you go to the athlete? And how do you wade those waters?
Right. Well, I didn't really have experience doing that because this past year was my first year, and we were just kind of like trying not to.
Yeah, I mean,
because you
I've
really
never
don't know,
coached, so
right?
yeah.
It's hard to figure out like what you say to parents, what you don't say to parents. We got to a period where we had to like pull our girls like way far away to like have meetings after games and stuff because the parents are just
But
right
that's
there.
dope on you to have that.
Oh yeah.
Wherewithal.
I would say wherewithal, but I would also use the adjective courage to me, because that's something, you know what I mean? Like, because you've got those hover parents or whatever that are like, they want to be involved in everything and they want to not, they don't want your job, but they want to do your job from the bleachers. And that's got to be one of the toughest parts of dealing with young athletes.
That is the most frustrating part. That and just people like choosing other things over what they've committed to. But yeah, it's definitely a hard thing to do. You got to get away from the parents sometimes just to talk to them. And, you know, you have parents that are right behind the plate whenever their kid's batting, like telling them what to do. And it's just, that is definitely the most difficult part.
Oh, I really, like, honestly, I probably would be in coaching if it wasn't.
Yeah, it's not an envious position, honestly.
No,
I mean, like I said, my brother dealt with it, and and had parents that were like, "Well, why isn't my kid playing this position, and why is this girl playing over
Why
here?"
Ain't your kid practicing.
Right, and there was some of that as well. But my brother found it difficult to, like you said, wade into those waters with those parents that were the more difficult ones, and then he had the ones that, there's a fine line between these girls that are doing softball, 365, 24/7, and
shout out
and keeping it right and keeping it fun versus burning them out, because they're kids, they can get burned out. So I don't envy your position, but I do. You know what I mean?
we had a stellar. I mean, one of the best pitchers I've ever seen at that age, probably the best pitcher I've ever seen at that age, and she's playing like softball 24/7, and we were talking and we were like, what if she gets burnt out? Like, I don't want her arm to get burnt out, but how do you go about that? That's what she wants to do. That's what her parents want her to do. So.
Yeah.
That kind of takes me to, watching college softball, which has become over the last 3 years, I would say, one of my favorite college sports, especially when you get to the postseason. It's so fast paced. Everything about it is just, I love college baseball too. Don't get me wrong. There's a reason why those numbers were so close this year. You know what I mean?
And the women are intense.
Oh, and them dugouts. Like, bro, you got to have a live dugout no matter what sport you're in. But you could be losing 25-0, and the team that's got 0, they got a loud dugout still.
Oh, yeah.
So kind of, I'm loving what college softball is bringing to the table. When it comes to the transfer portal in the softball world, we see it so much in college football, college basketball. Is it a good thing as well in college softball, or do you think that it might be a little too much?
I think it's a good thing. That people get in situations that they're not happy in, and for people's mental health and stuff like that. If they don't like where they are, they're going to lose the love for the game. They're not going to want to play, and they're not going to play well. So then if you get to move into a place they really like, a place they really enjoy, that's amazing. And then you also have girls that maybe won't shine as much where they are, and they move somewhere else and they get to play more. and really playing time and just getting to do what you love. That's what means the most, I guess.
Yeah, right. That's what it kind of boils down to in general, is doing what you love.
Oh, yeah.
Who are some names that have kind of stood out to you? I've seen some of the posts and stuff, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know, you know what I mean, exactly who you're talking about, but you amp it up, you know what I mean? So I'm like, so what are some names that have stood out to you that you were like, maybe you saw this come across the wire and you're like, I would have never expected that to happen, but it happened.
Right. Well, a lot of the Alabama girls left. Megan Bloodsworth and then Lexi Kilfoyle, they both went to Oklahoma State, which I thought was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be teammates there again. And then Arkansas just got a good girl from Duke that's really good. And another Alabama transfer went to Georgia. They had another girl go to Ole Miss and then one to Liberty. And I think there's one that's unannounced yet.
Is Alabama fielding a team next year?
They'll be having tryouts.
Maybe so.
At least they got Montana, though.
Yeah.
You know, that'll help.
There's always
for,
football, Dave.
One more year?
He's an Alabama fan, so there's always football, Dave.
Yeah, but I think it's good. There's a lot that's been going on.
Isn't that wild, though, real quick, though, with Alabama? Because normally they're right up there with, you know, the Oklahomas, the Floridas of the UCLAs of the softball world, and then all of these players are transferring out. What is there a rhyme or reason to that?
I think
be honest. Come on, I see that core smile already coming up.
I think it's locker room stuff. I think it's coaches listening to some other people and just some talk in the locker room, trying to get some girls out and maybe keep their own like little clique in. But
so it might not be detrimental to the program. But if it backfires,
whenever these people that are, you know, having these cliquey situations get out, maybe it'll be back again.
Which is the first thing that you talked about when you got to coaching is you've got to eliminate cliques.
Yep.
Because you cannot have chemistry. We're not just talking about softball here. We're talking about every sport under the sun. If you got cliques, write it off.
Yep.
You just get back to the fundamentals at that point and only focus on that, and hopefully they go somewhere else and do something right.
Right. That'll ruin a team, and that's why 6 or 7 girls just left Alabama. So.
Man. Let's talk about the landscape of college softball right now. We do have another break coming up, so we'll kind of roll into that with it. This is very interesting stuff. I love talking to, especially coaches, right? Because they actually know what's going on, whereas we're just over here opinionizing about stuff. Great new word there. How do you think this Oklahoma, Texas going to the SEC, and we're not done yet, you know, UCLA, USC, headed to the Big Ten now. We're talking about with UCLA, the reason the Pac-12 is kind of on the map, right, is in the softball world because of UCLA. How do you think that affects the sport of softball?
It's going to be really interesting whenever that does happen. I mean, UCLA has been running the Pac-12. Obviously, the Pac-12 has some other really good teams in Oregon State, Arizona State, people like them. But UCLA's really been running things since college softball started. And just to move that to the Big Ten, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just to move that over there, they're going to be playing teams that aren't really ever.
I was about to say, how is the Big Ten as a conference?
I mean, they're just going to completely dominate. It's going to be weird to watch, but they'll definitely be in Oklahoma City a lot more.
So then when you come to the SEC, though, you're talking about already a convoluted area of powerhouses in the world of college softball. Well, Oklahoma, what are they, back-to-back now? Back-to-back national champions heading into one of the more tough conferences in college softball. How do you think that affects them?
They're definitely going to have a tougher schedule. I mean, the Big 12 is great in college softball already, but with them moving to the SEC and Texas moving into the SEC, it'll definitely be very interesting. You know, you have Arkansas, you have Alabama, you have Florida, you have all these really good teams, and they're going to be playing these teams multiple times. And instead of just maybe like once a year or just in the, you know, Women's College World Series. So I think it'll definitely be tougher for them.
Oh, I can't wait. I got a coach here who's just, I can't say his name when I'm about to say what I'm about to say, but he's going to be coaching a certain high school here in this area. And I would like to put you in contact with him. So if you did, you know, I'm sure that you got plenty of contacts out there or whatever, but I'd back this guy.
All right.
And I would like for maybe y'all to meet each other, maybe your next trip down to Panama City or something like that, because I think where you're headed with this is crucial to, you know what I mean? I love people who care, and you're a person who cares, and you care about the future for your athletes. And if that future is outside of softball, it is what it is, but we care about that future. I love that. We do got to get to a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk a little bit more, some more softball and some more SEC football. Keep it locked in 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida if you're in Mariana, 102.1 FM.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Colin Cowherd. Steph Curry was asked about Kevin Durant this weekend, and Steph's always classy. He said, "You know, I kind of like where we're at right now. Fans like to wrap their arms around teams, and when Kevin Durant comes to your team, it's less of a team."
The Herd, weekdays 11 to 2 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Swampy Jack here. I've traveled the world for decades and brought my most exciting adventures to Panama City Beach. Encounter the 25-foot-tall Swamp Ape. This indoor scrambler ride is synchronized for a multimedia experience like you've never felt. Put the pedal to the metal, racing around the Marrakesh track in electric go-karts. Supercharge your cart with special power-ups for extra speed or to sabotage opponents. And if you're hungry, grab a meal at Swampy's Cantina or enjoy an ice-cold beer. This and more at Swampy Jack's.
Hi, I'm Bobby Likas with today's Car Clinic Minute. Making it to work on time may be hard, but the journey itself doesn't have to be. When I come back, I'll provide some commuting comforts that'll make your 5 o'clock horses easier to ride.
The Car Clinic Minute.
It's Bobby Likas Car Clinic, brought to you locally by Hewitt Tire and Auto.
Call 850-769-7323.
Your certified AAA service center and hometown towing.
Visit them online at HewittTire.com.
On Airport Road in Panama City.
That's 850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and hometown towing.
So what creature comforts do commuters crave in their automotive beast of burden? Per Edmunds.com, comfortable seats and well-designed cup holders make the ride in the saddle physically cozy, while in-dash CD players and wheel-mounted radio controls allow ample entertainment with minimal hassle. In-console PowerPoints and hands-free voice-activated phone systems make it easy for office-bound pilgrims to do a little business before they arrive. And since feeding the horses under your hood can take the gold right out of your saddlebags, good gas mileage can really make a difference between an old gray mare and a red-hot pony. I'm Bobby Likas. Like us, you'll love us.
Now back to the most dangerous afternoon show on terrestrial radio.
Danger's my middle name.
It's illegal in 5 states. The Afternoon Underdogs, inside the Rib Crib Radio Room. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back into the Rib Crib Radio Room. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Make sure you head on over to ESPNPC.com and vote for me, David Hayes, and the Afternoon Underdogs, or for Coach James Hale and the Coach James Hale Show for the Best of Bay radio personality. We've got Sydney Fields in the building with us. Thank you so much for coming in, like actually physically coming in. That's awesome. She's down here in Panama City Beach on vacation, and she's from Little Rock, Arkansas. She is with FQ Arkansas, that's Fifth Quarter Arkansas, and WCWS 247. Make sure you go follow her or follow those sites, and then you can follow her. It's like Sydney Fields something.
Sydney_Fields 1.
Yeah, right there. Go follow her on Twitter because she's actually got some big news to announce. Do you want to announce that now?
Yeah, well, we'll do a little teaser. We're going to have a nice surprise on FQ Arkansas here pretty soon that you'll be hearing a lot more from me, and it's going to be really exciting. I
love it, man. So make sure that you go follow those places I just talked about at FQ Arkansas and at WCWS 247. First off, both of those other places I just mentioned, great places to get information, especially if you're an Arkansas fan with FQ Arkansas and if you're a softball fan with WCWS 247. We talked a little bit about how the move is going to affect UCLA, USC, Oklahoma, Texas, the SEC, the Big Ten. Before we move into football, who's the favorite for 2023? Because no Jocelyn now with Oklahoma, but do they just relock, reload, and get ready to go for number 3 in a row?
Well, they've already pulled in some transfers. They just got a girl out of Arizona State who's going to be really good for them. But they still have, their pitcher was a freshman, their ace, and so they still have her, and they just still have a really, really good team. So I think they're still going to be the favorite. I think UCLA is going to come out again and do really well. And then Texas might be able to reload and kind of end up in Oklahoma City again. So I think it'll be a really interesting year because a lot of girls are gone, but there's also a lot of really good girls coming back.
Oh, and you obviously, it's your job. You do a lot of research on all of this stuff, but I would kind of feel bad if we didn't give you the opportunity to talk about what Arkansas has lost, what they've gained through this offseason as well.
Well, Arkansas is getting a lot of really, really good freshmen coming in. They have the number 1 recruiting class for the 2022 kiddos, but they have some really good pitchers coming in, some really good hitters. We've got 2 Gatorade Player of the Years, one from Colorado, one from New York, coming in, and they're just reloading. They just grabbed 2 transfers also, and then bad thing, they're losing some of their real star players, Danielle Gibson, KB Sides, Lenny Malkin, Mary Half, and a couple other girls that were really stars. But they have some really good freshmen, some really good underclassmen, and I think they're going to be just fine.
Just fine. And so when you said they were losing some of these, is that to the transfer portal? Is that to graduation? And also, there's a very exciting professional league going on right now as well.
Yeah, so 2 girls, Danielle Gibson and Taylor Ellsworth, they're both playing professional. Taylor Ellsworth is playing in the Women's Fast Pitch League, and same league that Jocelyn Allo's in.
Yeah.
And then Danielle Gibson is playing for the Athletes Unlimited League.
Wait, so you're telling me we have 2 different leagues?
Yeah.
Oh, are they based anywhere regionally, or they're kind of teams all over the map? How's that working? Because I'm interested in this. I've been saying for a while now, if they started a professional softball league, I think that it's got room to grow, like at a huge rate right now.
So the Athletes Unlimited League, this was their first year, and it was just a couple of weeks, I think. They went off like a points-based thing. They were playing at local high schools and different places, I'm pretty sure. But they would have like one team leader for like each team. There were 2 different teams. And
like
they
Jenny
would get,
Finch, and didn't they do one where it was like Jenny Finch?
Yeah, they had
and,
like Team Finch and...
I was watching some of that stuff
yeah.
because, golly.
But they were on like
good.
a points-based system, so it was like kind of a every man for themselves type thing, even though they were on teams. But each player would get points for whatever else. But I'm pretty sure that ended, and the WPF League, that is still going on, and I think it's more traditional. I haven't been able to watch that as much because they do like live streams, but the AU League was on ESPN pretty much the whole time. So that was really accessible, and it was really fun to watch.
I really hope that stuff continues to go.
Let's get one of those teams here.
Yeah. I think this would be a great spot for it. First off, you've got a couple of places that they could already get right into. You got the Publix sports park right across the bridge, which is pretty close to where you're staying, that you could have huge tournaments at. Then you've got Frank Brown as well. I mean, whenever we have the Spiders tournament in, we've got like 100-something teams.
Plus, we got the beach. Plus, we got the beach.
Oh, yeah, for them.
That's what I'm saying. Like, let's go.
Not for
the recreation.
No, but I'm just saying. Like, I mean,
what if you did that, the beach softball league? Like, run on the sand, y'all.
There you go.
And you got to swim to first.
If it hits the water, it's a home run.
Sounds fun to me.
Yeah.
That could be pretty cool. I'm excited about that. I do think that a professional softball team here, I think it would work.
Florida
100%.
actually just started doing some summer leagues. There aren't, you know how baseball has summer league all summer. There's
like Cape Cod
hundreds
League
of
and
them.
whatnot, yeah.
But Florida just started one, I think more near the Tampa area.
Yeah.
But they
that's
have a
kinda
couple
where I'm
teams
from.
in there.
Yeah. That's cool. I'm not even trying to beat a dead horse here. I think that this is going to be something that you look at in 10, 15 years, that the professional aspect of it is going to be decent. Like, I would not even be surprised that if they got a league started well, it could outdo the WNBA.
I got a question. The girls in these leagues that you're talking about, are they eligible to play in the Olympics?
I don't know. there's still a debate on like softball being in the Olympics in the first place. So I'm not sure about that, but I mean, probably because these leagues aren't like super professional, like not like the NFL and MLB and stuff. They're just kind of shortened versions, but I think it's going to get bigger and bigger every year.
Let's hope.
Who does KJ Jefferson throw to this year? He came on as one of my favorite quarterbacks last year after watching him. He was throwing to Treylon Burks, who would take the top off the defense. Obviously, they had a lot of talent around there.
He's a Titan now, right?
He is.
He is a Titan. I don't know what's going to happen with that. I mean, what I mean by that is he's got some health issues with asthma and stuff that he's dealing through, and I haven't heard much about after he was, after OTAs and stuff like that. It just didn't seem like he was on the practice field a lot. I hope the best for him though, and I think that he could be a very crucial aspect to the roster of the Tennessee Titans. But who this year for the Arkansas Razorbacks, who's KJ Jefferson going to be hitting?
I think Jaden Hazelwood. He's a transfer from Oklahoma. He had an ACL injury, I believe, at Oklahoma, but he was the number one wide receiver coming out of his class, and I think he's going to be really good once he finally gets the shot. And he's got some really great speed and hands. And then the tight end room is going to be interesting. Trey Knox is a guy that's been there for a while.
Y'all got another Double H guy in Henry Hudson.
Hudson Henry. Yeah, I went to high school with him.
Did you really?
Yeah, I went to high school with Hunter.
Wait, is that? I was about to say that's Hunter
brother. Hayden Hudson.
Golly.
Yeah, but Hudson's there. He hasn't really had his breakout time yet, but I would love to see him get some more reps in. And Trey Knox is a tight end that's been there for a while. He was originally a receiver, but he has put on some weight. He looks like a monster right now, and he can get the ball a lot. But the wide receiver room really is not what it has been. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to go on because watching the spring game, that was really the most questionable part. Defense is great. The running backs are fantastic. But then you also have KJ who can just run the ball himself and just run people over.
Leading
and honestly, I mean, I think he's
like Derrick Henry at quarterback.
Oh, yeah, he is. But he can throw the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's going to be fun to watch. I think KJ's going to end up being, in the Heisman race.
So Arkansas has a pretty tough schedule coming up this year. What are you looking at?
10-2.
10-2. And who are the two losses?
Maybe Alabama, and maybe either like BYU or Ole Miss. I think we take care of Texas A&M. I think they're overrated. But
because I was about to ask the 7.5. I was gonna be like 7.5 over under. But you just threw yourself under the bus.
I've been saying it.
I'm here to tell you it's wrong.
No.
There's no way y'all are going 10-2. Actually, I will tell you, the progress through the process with Sam Pittman has been one of my favorite. Like, I'm intrigued by them all the time.
9-3 last year in his second year, and you don't think we can go 10-2?
Yeah, I do. I actually do. But honestly, I would put y'all above the overhyped, in my opinion, Texas A&M this year. I would say that y'all take care of them.
If in her 10 wins, she's got Texas A&M included.
Yeah, we're beating Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Ooh, handedly?
Yeah.
How many games do you go to a year?
3, 4 maybe. It depends on what the schedule looks like.
Yeah, no doubt, man. That is awesome.
Well, and there's no Georgia this year, which Georgia, you're right, Georgia dismantled y'all because y'all were, top 10?
That was the worst game. That was such a bad game.
Yeah.
That kind of changed the tide for him a little bit. No.
Yeah, but BYU.
Everything goes back to the tide.
Georgia's the whole reason that we're having this inflation problem and all of that stuff. Goodness gracious.
Hey, you told Caveman no politics. Now you're jumping right in.
I didn't go into politics there. I said inflation, bro. And it has to do with 1981, 2022. Sydney, you got time for another segment?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to take one more break, and we'll be back with the final segment of the day, guys.
It's the 5-year flyaway from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Lance, my man, congratulations. How you feel about being caller number 5 today?
Good. I've been trying for a little while.
I love it. So you are entered in, and you've also won a $25 gift card to Rudy's Barbecue, as well as a 12-pack of Buffalo Rock. Man, we'll see you here soon.
All right, man. Thank you.
Keep listening to win from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
The newest and most authentic Mexican restaurant on Panama City Beach, El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, 1136 Thomas Drive across from the Navy base. Not only do they have a great location and atmosphere, but they also have happy hour from 3 to 7. Buy one, get one free, regular margaritas and 12-ounce house drafts. And you're going to love their lunch specials Monday through Friday from 11 to 3. Plus, live music on Wednesdays and Saturdays from 5:30 until 9. El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, Thomas Drive across from the Navy base.
PCB Coins and Cards is the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, coins, and trading card games. PCB Coins and Cards carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Coins and Cards has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel, rookie, game used, and autograph cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? Bring it in and let us take a look. We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Coins and Cards on Back Beach Road just east of Florida Linen. Call them today at 850-320-8388.
Hello, this is Rick Vossen with RV of Panama City, your local Stormore portable building dealer. We are located on 2241 East Baldwin Road, Panama City. Shopping for an 8-foot to 16-foot in width or 10-foot to 60-foot in length, cabin, garage, portable building, whatever the needs are. Remember, at Stormore, we can insulate our buildings. We can put electric on, thermal windows, transom dormers. There's so much we can do. Stormore Portable Buildings, 2241 East Baldwin Road.
Sykes Concrete has been in business in this area since 1947, and 3 generations later, they're still going strong. See Sykes Concrete for dirt, sand, rock, and concrete. They can handle any size job from the smallest to the largest. Sykes Concrete pays CDL truck drivers some of the highest wages in Bay County, making $50,000 to $75,000 a year, including holiday and vacation pay, plus health insurance. See Hugh Sykes at Sykes Concrete, 8030 Highway 77 on the right, just north of Southport Elementary School.
From the Florida-Bama line to the Gulf of Mexico, from the Upper Grand Lagoon to McKenzie Park, we are live and local.
Whether you like it or not, you have a gift.
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs, live from the Rib Crib Radio Room, ESPN Northwest Florida.
It is time for the last segment of the day. You guys have been riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. So dope to have Sydney Fields in the building with us here in the Rib Crib Radio Room. You've been absolutely great, by the way. It's been a lot of fun talking softball. Really, the coaching aspect is one of the things that stood out the most to me. We did talk about the Arkansas Razorbacks, and you've got them at 10-2 next year. Which game on the schedule, and let's not use Alabama as a starting point here, which game on the schedule kind of makes you the most iffy about?
I think playing at BYU is going to be a lot harder than it sounds like. It's a beautiful place. I would love to be able to go there, but they're a really good team and they play pretty hard and they have a really good fan base out there. So I think playing there will be hard. And then playing Ole Miss, that's going to be a hard game.
I wonder if Zach Wilson will be there for the BYU.
Well, I was going to say, traditionally, BYU plays pretty dirty, actually, too. They have a history of being some dirty players over there.
Okay, man, we love you, buddy.
No, he's
not wrong, but it's just he always finds the one thing from every school or team and then just pokes the bear.
Yeah, he definitely does.
That's one of my superpowers.
Right?
Sherry Fields, is that your mom?
Yes, it is.
She said, thanks ESPN Northwest Florida for having Sydney on. Arkansas proud, and we are proud of her and everything that all of your journey, all of your journeys that you're going on, like you said, with Fifth Quarter Arkansas, FQ Arkansas on Twitter. Make sure you guys go follow that because here soon, big things will be breaking with Sydney Fields, FQ Arkansas. Can't wait for it. Can't wait to continue on our coverage of softball with you in the next year and also getting updates on, just the coaching life and maybe giving some advice to other coaches and stuff like that.
I can take all the advice I can get.
Let's get into a team that and maybe we'll just stick with the SEC or we can go anywhere in the NCAA here as long as it's going to last. A team that's going to surprise, and then let's get into a team that'll disappoint. We only got about 6 minutes here. AG, you got a team that you think will
like
surprise?
SEC football? Is that what we're talking about?
I'm giving you guys the out, and y'all can go outside of it.
Well, you kind of put me on the spot there. As far as SEC goes, I think LSU, we talked about that during the break. LSU is one of those teams that it could go really, really badly for Kelly in his first
so
year.
they fit both categories.
Or yeah, he could. I mean, or it could be, you're looking at a Brian Kelly LSU team that's just really surprising people, and maybe they have one loss.
Yeah.
Who knows? There's talent there. The cupboard wasn't empty whenever they got rid of Coach O.
Yeah.
But and then Kelly's ability to recruit as well and coach. I mean, everybody forgets what he did at Notre Dame for some reason. So
because it's very forgettable.
I mean, it's really not though. I mean, it's not though. If you think about what he was able to do with the academic restrictions that he had.
Okay.
It's
tough.
tough.
I will give you that, but what I'm saying is to get in the college football playoff, to get in national championships, to lay an egg continuously, it's forgettable. If I'm a Notre Dame fan, maybe not so. Maybe it's
give you that.
That was good, but we're all up in arms about where Notre Dame's going to go, and it's not because of how talented their football team is, even though they're decent, but it's because of how much money they can possibly bring in.
Well, it's old school, the brand. They got the benefit of the doubt most of the time. They get the preferred, spot ahead of somebody else that doesn't have the background that they have.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point. It's so true though. Let's see where I want to go next. Well, what about a team that'll disappoint?
I was going to say, surprise team, maybe Tennessee. They've been
a lot of people are saying
supposedly, like every year, this is going to be it. This is going to be it. And how about a disappointing team like maybe Georgia? They lost a lot of people off the defense, to the draft. It's going to be tough for them to repeat. And then again, Georgia took so long. We talked about since 1981. Long time since they've been there again and won. So they're going to go back to back. Probably not. It's kind of tough.
I'm going to give you my team to surprise is Oklahoma State. I'm going to get out of the SEC. I'm going to say they won the Big 12 last year, right? I don't think that they're going to get that much of a you got some people putting Texas all the way up into the college football playoff. I don't think that's happening. I think Oklahoma State could possibly sneak their way in because you got a lot of people up on USC and all of that stuff, and it's like, come on, man. There's no way y'all are going from 4 to 11-1 or 12-0.
So you're counting on Oklahoma taking a step back with Venables as opposed to Riley.
What are they going to do? What are they going to do?
Start playing more defense?
Okay, no, I'll give you that. But you had Spencer Rattler, dislike, Caleb Williams. So maybe they'll be even better because I just thought nothing of their quarterbacks last year.
I agree.
I thought absolutely nothing of their quarterbacks. I don't think Caleb Williams is going to move any type of needle over there at USC. I think South Carolina is going to go. Maybe they take a step forward because of Beamer and the progression there, but I don't think Spencer Rattler is going to be the answer there.
Maybe they could be more of a complete team playing both sides of the ball. And maybe that helps them out instead of just being one-sided and just all offense.
That's a good point. Give me a team that'll disappoint.
I think, like you just mentioned, South Carolina. I don't think they're going to be, as hyped up as they've been talked just because Rattler's there. And then Tennessee is riding on a high horse they think that they're going to be really good right now, just like you mentioned. And I don't think they're going to be amazing. I saw a lot of people having them at 10-3 or 10-2, and I just don't see that happening. But then you have A&M with this crazy recruiting class that they just got. I don't think Jimbo can do it, so I think they're going to be disappointing too.
Oh, so if they go any less, then because they're good for 8-4. Right? They're good for 8-4. No, but I'm saying though, if they go less than that, if you see them at 7-5, do they make that move or do they continue on? Because you can't really count on that great recruiting class to succeed in year one. You know what I mean?
But you can recruit, but they have to grow and they have to be taught how to play college football.
Well, now
and
you can buy.
Exactly, that too. But if your coach is just staying average for years and years, you got to move on and get rid of it.
That's a fantastic
But we'll
take.
see.
You got a team that could disappoint? I like South Carolina a lot, though.
Yeah, a team that could disappoint would be USC. They're coming in riding high with, Riley going there, and like we talked about with Williams. Everybody's looking at them as possibly a playoff team because of their easier road in the Pac-12. They could go out there and just lay an egg as well. And I think they're going to have some growing pains this year.
So they might be like LSU, like you said.
That's what I'm saying. It could go either way. Right. It could go either way, but I think I trust Brian Kelly with LSU more than I do Lincoln Riley with USC right now.
I'm not opposed to that take, Caveman Rick.
I already said mine.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Tennessee and Georgia.
I also want to throw Mississippi State in the mix of a team that could possibly surprise because of year 3 with Coach Leach.
Jekyll and
Will
Hyde.
Rogers. It could happen. Do I foresee it happening? No, not necessarily, but
Good point by Miles Lashley on Monday when he brought that up.
Right,
Very
he
good
100% did.
I do like Will Rogers, though. I thought he looked great in that bowl game last year.
I think a team that could disappoint because of the hype that's surrounding them right now, if we're sticking with the SEC, could be Kentucky. I've only got 15 seconds. I got 10 seconds left. All right, we're out, man. We'll be back Monday at 4 o'clock. Don't forget, 5-year flyway, 445, Coach James Hale live Monday at 8:15.
Don't forget to vote Best of Bay.
Thanks, Sydney, for coming in.
Yo, yeah. My dog.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
College football is now, in every way that matters, a professional sport. Quarterbacks are signing six-figure endorsement deals. That's the definition of professional, right? Like it, don't like it, doesn't matter. Good or bad, doesn't matter. That's what's happening.